Hello lovely friends, thank you so much for being here today. I've got a golden galaxy today. It's an acrylic pour painting with spray painted planet and stars. Now I've been putting a few of these out lately and I've had a few questions, so I thought I'd put a bit of a tutorial together step by step just to take you through what I do and how I do it with the colours, the pouring, the drying, the whole process really. So now I've got some really lovely paints there. I've got a whole range of different colours and they are some of my regular colours. You'll probably recognise them as we go along. I can't resist some of these blues. I'm a bit of a blue gal. So first of all, I get my canvas and I use, this is duct tape. It's a certain type of duct tape. It leaves a really nice line, very much like masking tape. But if you haven't used it before, I would just stick to the frog tape or the regular, really decent masking tape, just so you have that nice line when you take it off at the end of your acrylic pour. Not everyone uses it, but I quite like it. I tend to put it in about a mil from the edge and I fold it over and I make sure that it's down really nicely, because if you don't, there's an air gap in there or you haven't quite smoothed it down, you'll find at the end that will just be bleeding a bit. I tried a new duct tape this week and it didn't work, so I wouldn't recommend it all. Just whatever you try it out first on another piece of material or canvas or something else before you do the one that you want to make into a painting. So now that's all done, I've got my canvas all ready to go. Making sure it's level, and now I've got my base paint. Now I remember my friend Kim, my lovely friend Kim from Kim's Creations, and the lovely Betty from Oak by Patina, these two lovely ladies said, why don't you do a midnight blue? Now I've done one already, and that was I see it as a commission, but it was it was a gift for Kim from Kim's Creations, and that one is on its way now to Arizona. But this is actually the original one that I did, but I decided not to use it because I wasn't sure about the canvas. So I've now turned it into a golden galaxy, and I've used the same base paint, midnight blue. So it's that Daler Rowney ultramarine blue with a touch of black. I just mix enough black into it until I get the desired colour. So if you think that when we lay down paint and we want a particular colour, one of the trickiest things I find is that sometimes you forget what colour is going to dry, and it always dries very slightly darker the more you put it on. So what I thought I'd do with this one is paint the edges and make sure I had a really good base layer, because with a white canvas, if you've got a dark colour on top, unless it's quite thick, it sometimes leaves a bit of a see-through appearance, and I really wanted this one to be nicely covered. So just using a paintbrush, literally just using the same fluid paint that I've put on top, just to cover the sides, to let that dry. Okay, so I've got the amount of paint on the top of the canvas I'm happy with. I'm just getting rid of the air bubbles, and for the first colour to go down, so I've got my lovely Amsterdam sky blue. It's one of my favourite colours. Blues together, that dark and that light blue, already I'm loving it because I know what the contrast is going to be. So I've got my show pony and my darker blue, some gold, some silver, and you can see I'm layering up the paints. There's a particular way that I layer the paints, and because none of these paints particularly interact in a bad way, as in you're not going to get, I say bad way, it's not going to get the desired, there's going to be no colour, if you like, that I don't want, so it doesn't really matter about the layering. So I'm being very intuitive about it. Now if you had an orange and a blue, you'd have to be more careful, an orange and a green, but the pink can be pretty much put anywhere. But I do layer it slightly with a bit of gold or a bit of silver around the pink or lighter blue. So now the colours are layered down, I just cover the rest of the base as you would a normal acrylic pour. And I'm now just going to get a little bit of my white, which has got some Floetrol on it, Australian Floetrol, to create a few cells. And I'm swiping through. Now the way I'm swiping, and this is sped up a little bit, is at this point I'm swiping in the direction that I want to create movement and I want to create the planet. So the galaxy has an absolute infinity amount of possibilities when it comes to formation, so it's literally just going with what you would like. There's no right or wrong about it. Someone was saying the other day, you know, shouldn't it be like this, should it be like that? It shouldn't. No, it's your interpretation of what the galaxy is like, because it's almost impossible, isn't it, to replicate the galaxy, but when it's recognizable by you and other people, that's it, isn't it? So the main thing is, this is a part of you, this painting, and it's how you want to do it. Just have fun with it and enjoy it. That's what it's all about. So my palette knife, my trusty palette knife, is just making some nice formations there. I think I've got 1 or 2 more swipes to go. I'm pretty much there. Already I can see where I'd like my planet, but sometimes that changes, and also the orientation can change. In this one I quite liked it vertical, and then I was thinking, actually no, it needs to be horizontal. So it's organic, so as you go along you literally decide what you want to do, and it's all okay. So I'm coming to that point now where I'm finishing off and I want to tilt it a little bit, so I'll come back shortly once I've tilted it, and then we'll be on to looking at it and spray painting it once it's dried. I couldn't resist a few swirls here, so I'll see you shortly once it's dried, and we'll get ready to spray paint. So now it's dried, I'm beginning to look at it and thinking, where do I want to place my galaxy? At this point I have a pretty good idea, so I'm going to put it around there. I'm looking at the parts I want to leave and the parts I want to keep. So I'm starting off with my black, and I'm spraying black as an essential colour for a galaxy, I find. I tried using other colours, but nothing really does it like a black, because even if you use a bit of purple and doing some beautiful colours and stardust, that black gives it that depth. So I'm just intuitively spraying, and now I'm placing the stencil, which has just been tacked on the back by some nice sticky spray. You spray it, 30 seconds later it's ready to stick down, even though it's got duct tape around it. That's old duct tape, but I've left it as it is, and I literally just stick it down now with that sticky spray. And the gold that I'm using today is my first time using it. It's really dense, I'm finding, compared to the black. I'm loving it, and it's a golden galaxy, but you'll see I layer it until I get it just how I want it. So at the moment I'm fairly happy with gold, experimenting with it and thinking, gosh, that is a really strong colour. But I'm going with it, and in a minute I'm going to start covering up the planet and using my cloth, my damp cloth, to wipe away anything I don't want. It's a really tricky part actually, because I only spray in certain directions and I'm keeping away from the colours that I want to keep around the planet. And the reason I do that is because it dries so quickly, and if you have too much of a spray painted area, you can really see when you start to rub off, and I only keep within certain zones. So if you see I'm doing it I hold the can fairly straight, spray it on the edge, and part of it, only a tiny bit of the spray, then goes towards the planet, and that's when I get my wipe or my cloth and I rub. Okay, so can you see what I'm doing here? So I'm rubbing only on the coloured bit and towards the spray paint that's not that dense. If you rub into the spray paint that's been quite dense, it looks like a hole, and then you've got to go and spray paint over it again. So what I'm doing now is I'm using my damp cloth, well I think this one's a wet wipe, and I'm highlighting the planet, and I'm bringing up the blue from behind it and making it a bit more 3D. I really wanted to keep that pink, and I'm quite happy for a lot of the galaxy on the left hand side to disappear. I like some of the swirls, I like part of the formation, but I really want the colouring around this planet to be really defined. So enjoy the journey. I'm just going to leave you now to the end. I'll come back with the final result, and I'm just literally going to be spraying a little bit more, using the black to enhance, and I'm layering with black, white and gold, and adding a bit of copper. So just enjoy the process, and if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Thank you so much for being here today on this journey with me. See you shortly. coming towards the end now, and you can see that I've gone over the planet because I wanted to have more enhancement, and I've used white. There's still gold on there, but it's mainly white, and I'm not happy with that density of gold, so I'm just going to use some black, and I'm going to cover the planet because I don't want to keep going around it, and I'm just literally using a paper towel, being careful to hold the paint can 90 degree or up straight basically. One of the things I found with spray cans is you need to clean the nozzle every single time, so I take it off and I use a pin to go through it, or it's a tiny bit of wire. A needle is quite good as well. You need to go through the nozzle and up through the other side, and then if it doesn't work, then you need to soak it. But if you keep it clean, it's not too bad. There we go. So I've highlighted the sides, and I just wanted a little bit of white beaming down from above to give that contrast. And I've got a bit of copper that I'm using at the bottom. And I'm really pleased with this one. I've so enjoyed this planet. It was a really tricky one because I ran out of black, and I thought I can either leave it like that and make it and leave it really gold, or I can finish it to my satisfaction. I'm terrible at that. I just have to keep going until I'm finished. That's what art's about though, isn't it? It's making it how you want it to be. So I want to say thank you so much for being here today, and if you have enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe and share, comment, let me know what you enjoyed, let me know if you have any questions. I'm really enjoying all of your artwork. If you want to show me something or draw my attention to it, please let me know. Sometimes the days are so busy, aren't they? Things can pass you by. So let me know what you're creating. I always love to see. And here we are, the finished planet and star. All that stardust. This is my golden galaxy. Acrylic pouring, letting it dry, and then using spray paints to finish it off. I think this is my new favourite thing to do. I hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are. Take good care, and don't forget, your art is a piece of you. Take care. See you soon, I hope. Bye.